and welcome to Model Train Fun. My name is Bo Jensen, and today we're going to look at the new Mobile Station WLAN. So this is Märklin 60667, and we're going to connect that to the central station tree. So what's cool about the Mobile Station WLAN is it can connect to your wireless network. I got mine here. And then through the wireless network, you can get to the central station tree. Unfortunately, the central station tree cannot connect wirelessly to your network. You actually need to wire it up, but then you can have the Mobile Station WLAN or the wireless mobile station talk to the router, which talks to the central station through a cable, and in that way you can control your trains. Now, there's many different wireless networks out there. So I'm not going to tell you how to set this up and connect it. So if you can't figure it out, ask a friend, a family member, or some other kind soul out there. However, what I'm going to show you is how do you connect the central station tree to your network when you got one in the house. And then I will show you how to connect the mobile station through the wireless to the central station tree. Enjoy the video. So here we have the Mobile Station WLAN, or the wireless mobile station. If we look at the package here, yes, it says Märklin up here, but it also reminds us that we can use this for mini-tricks, tricks, and LGB. Don't forget that the mobile stations as well as the central stations support multiple protocols, both the Märklin specific, but also DCC, for example, as well. So let's look what's inside the box. We need to slide it out, I can see. So what do we have in the box? We have a manual. And as usual, there's German in there, but we also have English. All right. I don't know if there's other languages. Doesn't look like it. There was German and English. And we can see here on this manual here, there's French and Dutch as well. Okay. We have the device itself here. Let's try and take it out. All right. And it looks like there's a foil here to protect the screen as well. But other than that, it looks exactly like the Mobile Station 2 we know. I think it feels a little heavier, but I'm a little unsure. See, it looks a little different on the back side. I suppose that's so you better can hold it. For example, like this, so it's one-handed holding. Let me take this off as well. So here we have the screen. Yeah, looks really nice. I believe this one has some more roughness to it. That's different from the existing one. There is, what do we have here? I believe this is the warranty card. Yes, it is. Always good to have. And then we have a grip thingy. It looks like you need to put that on the back, glue that on the back of the mobile station here, and then you can hold it one-handed. And it looks even here like this is something you typically would get from for a cell phone, right? If I look at this, so maybe that's a hint that if you lose your Märklin one here, then if nothing else, you can go buy one for a cell phone. Now let's try it out. Now, how do we connect the Mobile Station WLAN or the wireless mobile station to the central station tree? Well, the Mobile Station WLAN will actually connect wirelessly or talk wirelessly to your wireless network. Remember, you can also call this either Wi-Fi or WLAN and so on. And then from there on, there's actually a wire connected to the central station tree. And then the central station tree will actually talk to your layout through the track power. Now, unfortunately, the central station tree cannot directly connect to your wireless network wirelessly, so you need this wire, so this is important. Now, how do you connect this wire? Well, basically what you do is you go to your wireless network, and on the back you will have several of these, you can see them here, some squared holes that has a kind of thingy on top, so they're squared and the kind of thingy, and this is where your connectors go into. You can see on this wireless router, which is mine, there's one that looks a little special, it's blue, and then there's 4 that kind of look the same. Okay, they are turned upside and down, but other than that, they look the same. So the one that's a little special here, the blue one, you see mine has a little globus on it to indicate global or internet. On other routers, it might say internet on it or WAN or something similar. However, the ones that you are interested in are the other ones that are similar. Most routers typically have 4 of these, 6 or maybe 8 of these. And those are actually the ones you need to connect. Now, where do you need to connect it to? Well, you look at the back of your central station tree. On the back, you can see there is there's a symbol here that with some squared boxes. I guess it needs to look like computers connected to a network. And you got the same type of connector here on the back. You can see it's a square with some thingy here. In addition to that, there is 2 lights on here that will show you if it's actually connected. Now this one here, you basically need to connect directly to your wireless router. You need to do all of this when the central station tree is turned off. And then you have to start it up, and then you can verify that it's actually connected to your network. Let me show you how to connect the central station tree to the wireless network. So here I have the central station tree. You can see it has power. It also has a wire to the layout. But notice there's no power on. We don't want to have power on when we connect things. Then over here, I have my wireless network, and do remember the central station tree does not go directly on the wireless network. You need a wire. So here I got a wire, a network cable wire. So where do I plug that in? Well, if we look on the back of the central station tree, I'll just see if I can pull it a little closer. You can see here, there is this symbol here for a network that looks like computers. There is some colored lights on here, and then there's a plug. Basically what you need to do is you have a wire here, and you can see it has a little thingy on top here, and then it will go actually into that little hole. So if I hold this up, you see the thingy on top here. When I'm holding it like this, it needs to go down. So this is up on the central station, so down here. So I take this one and I align it, and then I basically just plug it in. All right, let me try and see if I can make a better close-up so you can see it here. I have the little tab, I put that down, and then I put it in. You can hear it says click. Now, how do I get it out again? Well, the little tab is actually here below. So you can see I can basically just press this, and then I can pull out, and then I can put it in again. All right, or can I? Here, okay. And then it's plugged in. Now the other end of the network, as I've talked about before, and now I got my power disconnected, so of course I need to connect that again. The other end of the network goes into the network router in the place that is not for the internet. So on mine it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and I basically just connect the other end in there, and then we're done. Now what is important is that this connection of this cable actually happens while the central station tree is off, because then it would automatically detect the network when it starts up. It seems like the central station tree doesn't do it when you just click in. A normal computer would, but the central station tree does not. So now we need to turn on the central station tree, and then we can actually go ahead and look at the screen. So I will go and zoom in on the screen, and we can see what it is we need to look for. Maybe one last thing I need to talk about is make sure that you have a router that will actually assign it an address on the network. For most modern routers, that is not a problem. So here we have the screen of the central station tree. So I just connected the network to the networking router, so remember the wire. Let's go in and see if it's connected. You do that easiest by going here to the top to System. We click on System, and then you can actually click on System again here. Do remember, if you are in something weird pops up, you can always click the back button, you can click the System, and then you can actually see it here. If you click the network, oh sorry, that's actually not what you wanted. You want this Central Station 3, and then you want to scroll down and scroll down till you see the same symbol. See, this is a symbol where we plugged it in. You can open this one here, and you can actually see I have an IP address here. When I have an IP address, it will actually be connected to the network. You can also see there's other parameters here, and that's given to the Central Station 3 by the network router. So when you see this, that means all is good, and now we can go ahead and try and connect the Mobile Station Wireless to the Central Station 3. Before you can turn on the mobile station, the wireless mobile station here, you need some batteries. You actually need 4 AAAs. They are, by the way, not supplied in the box, so you have to remember to buy that yourself. On the back here, you see there's a big panel. There's a screw here. The screw, you need a small screwdriver for that. I believe it's a PH0 I got here. So we should be able to open it. Oh, need to unscrew it completely. And then you can see it's here, and there needs to be 4 batteries in there. Remember, as with any other electronics, you need to make sure that you always replace the batteries, all of the batteries at the same time. Other than that, they just go in. All right. So here we have them. I think I saw somewhere on the Märklin website, they won't guarantee how long they will last, the batteries. And by the way, you can use rechargeable batteries as well. We screw them in again, or we tighten the screw again. Something feels weird here. Okay. We tighten the screw again, and now we should be ready to use it. All right, we have added the batteries, so let's start it up. In order to turn on the wireless one, you basically hold in the start button for more than a second, and then you will see something happening. And you can see here, now it says Märklin, so it's starting up. And you wait patiently while it starts up. All right. The first thing we notice is that it speaks German to us. Actually, what it wants us to do is connect to the wireless network. There's a little check mark down here. Remember how the mobile station works. You click on the button next to it. So that's this one. You see there's a check mark. There's a line. It's this button here. We click on that one. And then it goes looking for your wireless networks. Now you can continue from here and then actually continue with German. You can also just hit the back button here. One time here, one more time here. So now you see it says mobile station. Remember, you can use the buttons up here to scroll up and down. I scroll down, so you see I scroll down here. It says Sprache, and that means language. We select that one, okay. And now we can select German or English, and we can do that by, if I want English, I select this one here, and now you actually see it speaks English to us. However, now we got it out of the menu that it automatically started up in. So how do we do that? Get into it again. We hit Shift and then Turnout, so we get into the standard configuration like the Mobile Station 2. So we see that here. We can scroll down again in the menu. So remember, these over here scroll up and down. We have the VLAN here. We can click that one here, and then you can see up here it says seek for VLAN or the WLAN, so the wireless LAN. We select that one there. Now it goes ahead and says available Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is this one here. And now you can see I have to enter the password for my wireless network. So remember, a wireless network, you need 2 things. One is the name, which was I just selected, and then I need to enter the password. So now what you can do is you can hit Shift here, and then you can rotate the button here, and when you rotate the knob, you can see it changes the characters here. When you selected one, let's say it's an E, you can actually go over here. You see there's a cursor or arrow here to the right and one to the left here. When you hit that one there, you see the cursor moves over. See, I can do it again. So it moves over, and then you can put in the next one here. So again, shift and the knob, and you can see that it actually changes. Now, this is one way of doing it. Oh, by the way, there's down here, you got erase, so you can erase what was there before, and when you're done, you hit this one. Now, be very, very careful. You want to enter exactly your password in here, because otherwise you'll have to start all over again. What I like to do, though, is to use the keyboard up here. So you see the keyboard, I press this button here, now I have a keyboard. The good thing with the keyboard is you can scroll up and down here, right? So again, I can scroll up and down here, and you see here's a selected character here. If I scroll one down, see it goes to A, one more, it goes to M, it goes to Y. So you can easily go a line down, and then you can scroll left and right. If you also noticed here are special characters as well, like $sign and exclamation sign and others. You can't actually select them out from the other area. So to me, it's a much nicer here. So let me just try and enter a fake password. So I scroll up. I see there's a P there. I hit shift. I rotate the knob. I'm at the P. So now you see I'm at the P. I hit shift, and then I press the button, and then you see there's a P up there. All right. Then I can scroll up till I find my A. You see the A is over here. I hit shift. I rotate the knob. I'm here at the A, and down here shift, and then I press again. So now it's a PA, right? I can scroll down. I go use the shift and the knob. I use shift and press so I can get my SS. My W is also here, and my O and my R, and here we have a D. And then don't forget you can add special characters. Maybe the special character I have is password exclamation sign. And now I can hit OK. Of course, this isn't my password for my network, and you need to enter the password for your network as well. So the good thing here is it's easy to enter. You can again use this down here to delete. The handy thing is if you can see there's something wrong somewhere, or as a final check, hit the revert button here after you're into the keyboard. And now you can see I'm out in this mode again, and I can basically walk backwards and forwards in my passwords by using the arrow right here and the button right next to the arrow. And I can walk through my entire password and see everything is okay. With everything is okay, I hit the OK button down here. It says please wait. And then the exciting thing comes here. Hopefully you have entered your password correctly. If you have not, it will say connection failed, as you saw here. And then you have to try again. So I select my network, and then I enter my password. If it works, then you saw here, if you entered the password correctly, then you saw here it just went through the menu, and then it's ready. And now it's actually connected automatically to the Central Station 3. You didn't see anything about connecting to it. But what it does is it goes out and looks at the wireless network, and if the Central Station 3 is turned on there, it will actually find it. What I understand from the manual is if you have multiple Central Station 3s, or don't forget a Central Station 2, then what it will do is you'll be able to select which one you want to have. And now you can actually use the mobile station as you normally would. However, let's go in and see if there's anything special. So we hit SHIFT+Turnout to look at the special in the menu here. So you see there's something called MSW here. So that's Mobile Station Wireless. I press on the bottom next to it. And in here, there's several things you can select. I wouldn't change many of these things in here. what I think can be interesting to see is down here, when you scroll down, you go into shutdown here, you can select how long before it turns off. And if you scroll further down, there's the battery type in here. So you can see you can choose between alkaline and NiMH. And the last one is if you add rechargeable batteries in here. You don't forget you can go out by hitting the back button here. And if we go all the way out, notice another interesting thing up here in the corner. You can see how much battery you got left, and you can see I already played with it. Plus, I don't think it's the best batteries either. So we go in and hit SHIFT+Turnout again and see if there's anything else that's interesting. We can scroll down. You can see the VLAN settings here as well, and it's just below the MSW. If we click next to that one, you can see we can go and seek for another network. So if you go to your friends, you can connect to their network if you want to. You can also say show VLAN here, and here you can see how good a connection you got and what you're connected to, and you can delete this as well. You can see there are two locomotives on my little layout. So how do I use these with the wireless mobile station here? Well, in short, you do exactly as if your Mobile Station 2 is connected to your CS3. Remember, when that's the case, the database is actually in the CS3 and not in the mobile station. So what you need to do is you need to hit Shift and then Locomotive in order to add a new locomotive. And you can see here on the top, it says from locomotive list. I can go in here. When I go in here, you can see there are already some locomotives. I can scroll up and down here. And that is actually the locomotives that are registered in my CS3. Right now, you can see I have 3 locomotives, but there could be a lot more. So in general, what you have to do is I have to select my locomotive. So let's say the Halloween locomotive here. I select that one here, and now you can see I have it available. I could, of course, also assign a new locomotive. Remember, Shift and then rotate to a new locomotive position, and then I can hit Shift Locomotive again. I can go to my locomotive list, and then I can get, what else do I have down there? Well, I got a Vectron. So the Vectron, that's the 193 here, so I can select that one. And now I got 2, and now I can remember, you shift and then rotate the knob, and then I can shift between these 2 here. And when you have it available here, the locomotive, so the Vectron here, for example, you could remember to go in out of stop mode. So now it's in stop mode, press stop to go out of stop mode, and then you could press a sound, for example, and then you can hear that you got a connection. All right. And then the final thing, you can also use the turnouts from the mobile station as well. Don't forget you hit the turnout button down here, and then you can see the keyboard as usual. And out here you can see you can choose between left and straight, and there's these 2 buttons out here. I don't think there is anything on address 3, but there's something on address 2, so I can click these and you can hear there's actually something changing. Don't forget to look at all the Mobile Station 2 videos for how to use the mobile station, because this is essentially just a Mobile Station 2. It's just wireless. So how do I turn off the mobile station wireless here? Well, you basically just hold in the stop button and you hold it for more than 8 seconds, I believe, and then you can see it turns off. And don't forget, in order to turn it on again, you hold the stop button again for a second. Oh, it seems like, oh, and here it starts up again, and that's the way you do it. By the way, one of the questions that's probably interesting is how long will this one actually work on the batteries? As I understand on Märklin, they are not promising anything, but during test they had it working for up to 40 hours on a set of batteries. But of course it depends on your usage and how much, and if you remember to turn it off and so on. One thing I have to remind you though is, don't forget the stop button here is always good to have, but if I turn it off, then actually the central station tree will not discover it. Well, you can also continue working on the central station tree. So if you've forgotten to turn off your trains, you can't even stop them here, right? Because you're disconnected. So don't forget, when it's turned off, well, then it's actually turned off. So how do you hold your wireless mobile station? Well, first of all, you can do it two-handed, so you can hold it like this, and then you can scroll and you can get easy to the buttons like you normally would your Mobile Station 2. What I found interesting is there's actually three ways of helping you here on the back. There's two grooves here, one to each side, and then I mounted this button here that came with the device. So the cool thing is, if I want to just hold it in one hand, see, I can just hold it here in the groove, and then I can hold it like this, and then I can use the other hand. So I can freely go ahead and use the other hand for something else while I hold it. And it works both left and right. The final thing you can do is, and this is where the rotating comes in. You see, if I rotate the mobile station here, it will actually rotate the display. So you see here, it rotated the display, and you can still use all the buttons and so on. And this is where the item here on the back comes into its right. So I have mounted it close to the screw here. You have to figure out where you want to do it. I suggest measuring out with your fingers first. It can be pulled out in two levels. So you see, I pull it out like this here, and I can pull it out even more like this. I got fat fingers, so I need to pull it out a lot. So what I do here is, see, I just put it between two fingers. And then when I'm here on the other side, I can easily here use my central station to change the speed. However, I'll have to admit, it is difficult to get to the buttons here. That's actually where you want the other one. But the handy thing is I can always get to my stop, which is very, very handy, and I think is very useful with the wireless mobile station. All right. That wasn't too difficult. We basically had to take the central station tree, connect through a wire to our wireless network. Then we can connect our mobile station VLAN or our wireless mobile station to the network, and it will automatically find the central station tree. Now the difficult part here can be to figure out how to configure your network and network router. Unfortunately, please, you have to ask either a friend, family member, or another kind soul to help you do that. But what I did show you is how to connect the central station tree to an existing wireless network and how to connect the mobile station VLAN to your wireless network. And I think the most difficult part for the mobile station VLAN is, first, it starts in German. Second, you have to enter the password, which can be very long, or at least it was for me. I have a long password for my wireless network, so that took a little while to get going. When we got it going, the mobile station VLAN is actually pretty handy to use. You can hold it in one hand, use the other one. You can use both hands like you would the normal Mobile Station 2. You have a little thingy on the back that you actually can slide in, and then you can use it with one hand, and in that case the display also tilts. Now, what are the differences between the Mobile Station VLAN and a standard Mobile Station 2? Well, the most obvious is there's no locomotive card slot here on the back, so you cannot insert locomotive cards, unfortunately. However, a very good thing is, as I understand it according to the manual, you can actually update this one without having a central station. So this is good news for people that only have mobile stations. The interesting part is, can this also update an existing mobile station too? So that will be interesting to see. In a future video, I'm going to show how to use the mobile station VLAN by itself. In order to do that, you actually need a Märklin 60117, which is a wireless receiver box that you need to have, such that it can receive instructions from the mobile station VLAN. That one you connect into your existing connector box that you will either have to get if you only have the mobile station VLAN, or you already have because you got your Mobile Station 2. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that we can see each other in a future video. Enjoy!